Hello guys, before this episode starts, I'd just like to say that it wasn't actually me recording this episode. This episode was recorded by Eden, who was in the Outlast Fright Nights episode from a few days ago. He's new, so give him a chance, and I will see you when I see you.
I've run out of places to go. Everybody I've tried to tell just gives me a strange look or flat out doesn't believe me. So I figured I'd come here to ask you, the innocent reader, if you've experienced anything similar to what I've been experiencing for almost my entire life. This phenomenon, you could call it, started right around when I turned 18 years old. I remember being so excited every year my day came, and now I dread that day. September 7th. At first it was nothing, a simple visual illusion. But now, in my old age, it gets worse and worse. After my friends and I had finished celebrating my 18th birthday at my parents' home, we went for a drive out to the desert. There were so many unfinished housing properties near us. It was easy to just walk deep into the desert and not be bothered by anyone. We would drink, smoke, do whatever we wanted. But after my party, we were out in the desert, drinking some beers and staring up at the stars. I got up to take a piss away from the group, and that's when it happened. The very first time I saw him, a tall, gangly old man. He sported a thick pea coat and a nicely ironed suit. His top hat easily made him another 6 inches tall. I stared at him, and he stared at me, motionless. At first, I just thought it was some crazy old guy wandering around the desert. Until I saw him again, on the exact same day the next year. Then the year after, and the year after, and the year after. Every year on that day, the old man would appear in front of me. But he was always such a vast distance away that it didn't bother me for the first several years. But every year on that day, he seemed to get a small bit closer. It wasn't noticeable at first, but after about a decade or two, I started to notice him coming closer. Each time we locked eyes for what felt like an eternity. Each time I saw him in the same outfit I saw the year prior. And each time we both said nothing. Not a word or a gesture. Just a simple look. And each year I saw him, no matter what happened that year. The year I retired, the year my mother died, the year I was hospitalized. No matter where I was physically and mentally, he was there. Just a neatly dressed old man, looking at me. As I've grown older, I've started to make out some smaller details about the man. He has a scar right below his left eye, for example. I'm not sure how it got there, but now it's one of the first things I look at when I see him. He also has a bandage wrapped around his right hand. I've tried to tell so many people about him. I've tried to get other people to see him, but every time, every year, on that day, it's just me and him. It didn't frighten me for a good portion of my life, but now as I die slowly and alone, he's starting to scare me. As I've seen him lately, he's had a strange look on his face. Not one of joy or malice, but a startled face. A face that looks worried. Whether that be for his sake or for mine, I often wonder if he is just as confused as I am. But in my long history with the man, 5 years ago was quite possibly the most important. Each year he gets progressively closer and closer, but then at the age of 70, as I laid in bed and he stood across the room. Like, each year passed, we share our look, but I finally decided to try to speak to him. It had occurred to me to try in the past, but I never mustered the courage. Hello. It was the first thing I could let escape my lips. I had so many questions building up over the last 60 years of my life, but I couldn't ask them all at once. He just stared back at me before replying in a shrill voice. Am I dead? I shook my head at him. I'm not sure. He stared at me with a look of dread, a look of regret. Then, like every year before I blinked my eyes, and he was gone. I let out a deep sigh of pain for the man when he no longer stood in my bedroom. I dared not to speak to him again since that one time. That brief moment of knowledge, a small glimpse into the man that I've been seeing almost my entire life. Someone who has brought a form of comfort in my life. In a world full of uncertainties and chaos, the old man has always remained a constant. After what could barely be considered a conversation, the sighting of the man has become nerve-wracking. Now he no longer stares with worry or concern, but with hatred. The past several years I have seen him, he stares at me with the devil in his eyes, a burning desire for blood, and I will be his scapegoat. He continues to get closer and closer. 3 years ago he was hiding something behind his back. Tears rolled down from his face as he gave me his terrifying stare that I had come to know. I started making sure I had a knife with me when that day came. Last year he attacked me. Tears falling from his face, he grunted as he swung his weapon downward. A long, sharp blade that I assumed was the thing he had been hiding. He stabbed through my right hand and left me a bloodied old man on my birthday. I couldn't believe it. He was a source of comfort for so long, and now he wishes to make the day of my birth the day of my death. But this year, I'm ready. I'm not sure what he will try tomorrow, but I've prepared for him. A gun. A small pistol that hopefully can get the job done. I'm uncertain if I'll be able to kill him, hell, even hurt him in any way, but he threatens me and I cannot let him take my soul. All year I've thought long and hard. Maybe I should let him take me. Perhaps he's a reaper. At one time in my life I would have let him take me without a second thought. But now the gift of life weighs heavily on me. Watching my children age, watching the world grow and flourish, the non-material aspects of this life have made it worth living. Each year on that day he arrives, only to share a look. Now he wishes to end that look, with his iron suit, knee-pea coat, and top hat. But I won't let him. I can't. He arrives tomorrow, and I will not let him take my soul.